Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Shan McQuillan. I am so happy to have you here. So today's video, I thought I would do a sit down video. I feel like I never really do sit down videos anymore. I used to do a few like hauls and stuff like that, and I just haven't really done one in a while, so I thought I would do a little chatty sit down video. We can just sit here, have a chat, have a besties conversation, chat through all the good things that are happening in life. So yeah, today's video is going to be my September favourites. So it's just like a bunch of things I've been loving throughout September, things that got me through the month, my favourite bits and pieces, different bits like music, clothes, books obviously, and random bits and bobs as well. So just a whole load of stuff thrown into one video. I've watched quite a lot of favourites videos recently and really been enjoying them, so I thought I would do one of my own. I feel like this is a real throwback to like 2012 YouTube, like Zoella in the original days, so it should be fun and hopefully you'll find something interesting in this video that you enjoy as well. So I'm not going to blabber on too much, I'm just going to jump on into the first category. Okay, so my first category is books. As you know, I love books. I'm a big reader and I've been reading a lot throughout the past year or so, and I thought I would share some of my favourite books that I read in September. So I think in total I read 5 or 6 books in September, I can't remember, something along those lines, but I've picked 2 favourites from all of those that I'm going to share with you today. So the first book on my favourites from September is Boys Don't Cry by Fiona Scarlett. So Fiona Scarlett is an Irish author and I'm actually not sure if she's written anything else. I have a funny feeling this is her debut novel. Yeah, it is. It's her debut novel. Fiona Scarlett is from Dublin but she's now living in County Kildare, and I'm a big fan of Irish writers. Anytime I see fiction by an Irish writer that I think I would be interested in, I will pick it up. Like, I'm always keen to read Irish writers, and I picked up Fiona Scarlett's Boys Don't Cry, which came out this year, 2021, and honestly it's one of the best books I've read ever, probably ever. So basically Boys Don't Cry tells the story of 2 young brothers, 2 like teenage brothers living in Dublin, and they're from a working class family. They live in like a Dublin tower block. I'm not really too sure of areas in Dublin. I've been to Dublin a few times, but I have never lived there, so I'm not really too sure of like the neighbourhoods and stuff like that. But basically they live in, it's like a group of tower blocks and they live in one of them. And the 2 brothers are called Finn and Joe. Joe's a little bit older. Joe's around 15, 16 years old. And I think Finn, sorry, is 11 or 12. And basically it just tells the story from both their perspectives. So you will see that there isn't like chapter numbers. Basically it just goes Joe, then the next section really is Finn, so it kind of narrates them section or chapter about, or however you want to say it, and you're basically getting the story from 2 different perspectives, and it's quite interesting to see the perspective of the younger brother compared to the perspective of the older brother, and how like they view their family and the world that they're kind of living in. So it deals with a lot of issues such as illness, family, toxic masculinity. As you can tell by the title, it's called Boys Don't Cry. It's basically like how the father's attitude towards the family has kind of affected how the boys behave, and the dad's kind of involvement in gangs and stuff in Dublin, and how the family has kind of got tied up in that. So yeah, it deals with a lot of very prevalent, serious issues, and it's a real tearjerker. Like, I'm not really one to cry at books, but this one got me. Boys don't cry, but I do. I think it actually says that. Yeah, they say boys don't cry, but you might. I did. I cried. But honestly, one of the best books I've read ever. So my next favourite book from September was The Colour Purple. The Colour Purple has been on my TBR for the longest time. Honestly, so flipping long. It's just one of those ones that, like, you know, there's always those books that you've always wanted to read but you just haven't got round to yet. This was The Colour Purple for me. So I've never even seen the movie, and so this was my very first introduction to the story, and honestly it was amazing. So it's set in the American South, like in the interwar years, and it basically is narrated by Celie, who is a young black girl living in, as I said, the American South, and it's kind of her experience dealing with sexuality, race, like sexism as well, like how she's treated by the men in her life, her father, and then later her husband, and then she meets, oh, who does she meet? Forget the name. Shug Avery, I'm not sure how to say it. And basically that's very liberating for her, and she learns a lot from this boisterous woman who's a performer, and she gets her way in a way that Celie is a lot more delicate and small and kind of gets pushed around a lot more than Shug Avery does. So yeah, this was a very like hard-hitting story, but 100% worth the read, and I really want to watch the movie now as well, so that should be on my list for October. Okay, so my next category is films and TV shows. So first on my list of films that I loved this month was Wildfire. So Wildfire is a film set in Northern Ireland. It basically, like, I think it's set in the modern day, but it deals with like the legacy of the Troubles and how it affects families and stuff now. Honestly, it was amazing. I really want to go back and see it again, because I just felt like it dealt with a lot of the issues here very, very well, and how like there's so many small communities in Northern Ireland, and how mental health is kind of ignored to a large extent in Northern Ireland, and there's such a culture of people talking, and how people will say like slabber about their neighbours, and they're always like talking about, gossiping about what's going on, and how that really affects people just trying to get on with their lives. It's basically the story of two young girls whose mother died when they were younger, and it starts off with one of the sisters coming home. She's obviously like ran away and sort of lived abroad and done her own thing for a while, and comes home and is reunited with the sister, and obviously there's a bit of anger there at the start, but then they've been through so much together that their relationship kind of goes from there, and her sister kind of tries to defend her while the rest of the community is basically saying that she's crazy. I don't want to reveal too much because I don't want to spoil the movie, but yeah, it was really, really good. I think they really captured the essence of Northern Irish communities very, very well. Okay, so the next movie on my list of favourites for this month is actually a bit of an older one. So my next favourite movie for this month was Serendipity, starring John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale. So I think it came out in like the 2000s, but I only watched it for the first time this month. It's one of those movies I've always heard about but just haven't bothered watching, and yeah, I looked it up on Netflix. I looked up When Harry Met Sally because it's coming into autumn, and When Harry Met Sally is such an odd autumnal feel-good movie, and I really wanted to watch that, but it wasn't on Netflix, and it came up like suggested Serendipity, and I was like, oh, I've never watched it, I'll watch it, and I actually loved it. It was just such a feel-good, like cozy movie, and it's just such a really cute story. Like, it was proper cheesy, like proper 90s cheesy movie, even though it was made in 2000, but it was just a real feel-good, lovey-dovey New York in the winter movie. So if that's what you're in the mood for, watch Serendipity. Okay, so my third and final favourite for this category is a TV show, and it is season 2 of Amazing Vacation Rentals. So me and Adam watched the first season earlier on in the summer and absolutely loved it. Like, just seeing all these cool vacation rentals around the world, it made me so inspired to travel again, because obviously travel's been off the table for nearly 2 years now, and seeing all these cool holiday places really makes me excited for travel to open up again. So season 2 was released in September and we are binge watching it. I think we've probably watched most of it now already, but yeah, loving it so much. If you're a big travel freak like me, then you definitely need to watch it. You'll get so much inspiration for places to stay. They do like a luxury, a budget and a unique place, and they travel, like, there's a lot of them are in the United States, but they do travel outside of that as well, so it's really interesting to see just really cool vacation rentals around the world. that you could possibly stay in one day, maybe. Okay, so my next category is clothing and jewellery, and personally I don't really buy a massive amount of clothes anymore because I just don't want to buy into fast fashion, and I just don't really need to be buying clothes all the time. But I do still love clothes. I love fashion, I love quirky bits and pieces, so I do like to buy some bits every so often, and charity shops and vintage shops have been my go-tos recently. I also love really like small local businesses for little quirky bits and pieces, so that's kind of what I've been shopping in. And I've got two clothing slash jewellery pieces to show you that I've got, both of them in Manchester, and I've literally been obsessed with them all of this month. So the first pieces I'm going to show you are two necklaces from a brand called Sour Cherry. So when me and Adam were in Manchester, we went into Affleck's Place. It's either Affleck's Place or Affleck's Palace, I can't remember. And there was this jewellery brand called Sour Cherry, and I think it's run by like two young women from somewhere in England, and they had so much cool stuff that I really wanted to buy, but I limited myself to two pieces. I picked up these two necklaces, so I've actually got them connected together at the minute because this is a hack I saw on TikTok. I'll share that with you in a minute. But I picked up these two necklaces. So if you know me, you will know I'm a massive zodiac lover, so I obviously had to pick up the Sagittarius one, and then I also picked up this little purple heart with like a space ring around it, a planetary ring around it, because I thought it was really quirky and cool. So basically I have connected these two necklaces together so as I can wear them together because they're the same length. So basically just connect them to each other, and then you can just wear them at like different lengths. Does that make sense? So I can like pull this one down and it'll be longer. Like you can layer the necklaces even though they're the same length, if that kind of makes sense. So that is my first picks on my list of clothing and jewellery items. These were only like £6 each, and they're very, very cute, and I think I'll definitely buy more jewellery pieces from Sour Cherry because it's a really cool brand. They had a lot of sort of space themed, feminist themed stuff, and Affleck's Place slash Palace was just a really funky little outlet in general. They had so many local retailers, small businesses, vintage sort of stuff, and I would genuinely go back to Manchester solely to go there. The next thing on my list of clothing is, you'll have seen me wearing this a good few times if you watch my other vlogs, or if you follow me on Instagram or TikTok or literally anything, because I've been obsessed with it. So I picked up this jacket. This is it here. It's by a brand called Diable de Nubile, and I looked it up. I think it's a Japanese brand, but I don't really know if it exists anymore. Yeah, so it's like this suede jacket with like a wool lining inside, and I just adored the colour. So I picked this up in a shop in Manchester called Blue Rinse Vintage, and I've been looking at a jacket like this for years, literally years, and quite often when you go into vintage shops I find things like this can be incredibly expensive. Like I have expected this to be at the very least £50. Like I was thinking like £60–70 like they would charge for this. This was £30. So I picked this up in a shop called Blue Rinse Vintage. I'm not 100% sure if I said that already, but yeah, I'm literally in love, and it's so heavy, thick and cozy and just perfect for winter, and it has real like retro vintage vibes to it, and because of the colour it can literally go with everything, and I just love it so much. So that is my staple coat for this season. You will be seeing this quite frequently, and I'm not sorry because I'm in love with it. Okay, so now I am moving on to my next category, which is music. And I only have one music favourite from this month because I have literally been listening to this person on repeat, non-stop, their whole back catalogue, everything they've ever released, just constantly, pretty much throughout the whole month of September. So you may not be surprised when you hear this one, but my music favourite for this month is Sam Fender. So Adam and I went to see Sam Fender in Manchester. We had these tickets booked about 2 years ago, and it was basically the first thing that ever got cancelled on us because of COVID, because it was March 2020 we were meant to go, and lockdown pretty much happened on the same week we were meant to go to this concert. Sorry if the angle or anything has changed, my camera just died there so I had to go and swap the battery, but as I was saying, Sam Fender's concert was basically the first thing that got cancelled on us because of COVID, and it was just postponed like indefinitely, and we weren't really sure when it was going to happen. And then I think it was about August, July or August, they announced the date would be September, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's actually happening. So we booked ourselves to go over to Manchester and finally get to see Sam live, and honestly I'm kind of glad it was postponed in that way, because we got to hear a load of the new tracks off the album, which is coming out in 4 days. Oh, I'm so excited. I have pre-ordered 2 editions of this new album and I am so flipping excited for it. I think Sam Fender's music has honestly, this new album, I just feel like the quality of the music is so much better, and his songwriting has got even better. Like, his songwriting was amazing to start with, that's why we originally booked the tickets, but now it's just like next level, and I'm so excited about it. Like, he just keeps releasing new singles throughout September, and I literally have been obsessed. Adam will tell you, he keeps telling me I'm obsessed, and I am obsessed with this. Sam Fender's definitely been my music favourite for September, and I'm sure he will continue to be so throughout October as well, when 17 Going Under is released next week. No, literally this week. This week? Oh. Okay, calm down. The thing is though, like, see, every time I hear the intro to 17 Going Under, I genuinely start crying. Like, I don't know why, it just tickles something in me that brings a tear to my eye. Okay, so I'm moving on to my final category of favourites from this month, and this is kind of random bits and bobs, and it only includes one thing again, but my random favourite from September has been my Bottle Up water bottle. So I picked this up in the airport when we were on the way to Manchester because I was so thirsty, I just wanted water, and I wasn't sure about bringing my Chili's bottle through the airport because I didn't know if they'd like take it off me in security or whatever, so I didn't do that. And I don't really like buying bottles of water, like just plastic bottles, because it's not great for the environment. And I saw this one in the like WH Smith in the airport, and it was like $4.99, but I was like, I would pay that for a reusable bottle anyway, and this is a reusable bottle, so I was like, I might as well just pay the extra and get this. And it was a bit more expensive because it's the airport, 'cause airport prices are just a bit elevated. So yeah, basically the premise behind the Bottle Up water bottles is to fight climate change and focus on like sustainable products. So I'm just going to read out a little bit from their website. So it says, we're on a mission to eliminate single-use water bottles, and this is made from like sugar cane, I think, and it's basically the one bottle I've been using pretty much throughout the whole month of September. Like, I don't even really use my Chili's bottle as much anymore in favour of this, because it's just a lot lighter and easier to carry around, and I just really love it. So that's my random favourite from September, and I'm really glad I actually picked it up, because at the time I was like, $4.99 for water, it's not really expensive, but I've definitely got my $4.99's worth out of this. The bottle is made of sugarcane, and basically you can reuse obviously plastic water bottles, but the more you reuse them they release like a chemical, and it's actually like really bad for you, so you shouldn't really reuse plastic bottles. I don't know how many people knew that, but yeah, you're not really meant to reuse plastic bottles. So when I saw this one was made of sugarcane, I was like, okay, it's obviously a lot healthier and kind of made to be a reusable water bottle. Then it's made entirely from renewable plant-based plastic, using less water and energy to produce than single-use plastic. It's reusable, sturdy and safe. Our sugarcane based bottle is tough and BPA free, safe to use again and again. So I think that's what it is, it's BPA and like plastic bottles that you can't really reuse them. They are all my favourites from September. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit random and I'm really sorry it's late. Life has really been hectic right now and I wasn't properly organised with my videos, so I missed an upload day and I'm really sorry about that. But we're here and I will see you guys next week for a brand new video. It will be on time, I promise. Thanks so much for watching. I love you guys so much and I'll see you next week.